The wind that night moved like a living thing, sharp, wild, whispering through the pines as if carrying someone's last prayer. Calder Hayes rode slow beneath the bruised purple sky, his coat pulled tight, breath turning to ghost smoke in front of him. He wasn't looking for anything except the comfort of his cabin and the quiet that waited there. But fate doesn't ask permission before stepping into a man's life. It simply appears, shivering, fragile, half lost in the snow. He saw her first as a shape swaying in the pale moonlight, a shadow crumpled beside the trail. At first he thought it was an animal. Then her hand moved, thin, trembling fingers pressing into the ground, and he felt something inside him go still. A native woman, young, barefoot, wrapped in a torn deer-hide shawl that did nothing against the biting cold. She lifted her head once before collapsing fully, snow swallowing her breath. Calder dismounted, the storm's teeth biting into him, and knelt beside her. Her skin was cold, too cold, the kind that meant the night had almost claimed her. He hesitated, shame creeping into his hesitation. The old voices came back, the ones his father hammered into him. Asterisk, softness will ruin you, boy. Asterisk, and the voice of the town. Asterisk, help in outsiders only brings trouble. Asterisk Calder had spent years shrinking himself to keep the peace, to avoid stares that cut deeper than knives. And now here was trouble lying unconscious in his arms. But leaving her meant living with a weight he wouldn't carry. He scooped her up, surprised by how light she felt, like winter itself might blow her away. The cabin greeted them with warm lamplight and the faint scent of pine sap and wood smoke. He set her carefully on the bed, tossing a wool blanket over her, then crouched near the stove to stir the coals back to life. The crackle of fire filled the small room, pushing the cold out inch by inch. When she stirred, her eyes fluttering open with confusion, he stepped back as if afraid his presence might. The storm did not ease with dawn. It only softened, turning from fury to a heavy, breathless quiet. Snow lay thick along the eaves of the cabin, muting the world outside, creating a hush that felt like the space between heartbeats. Inside, Ayanna and Calder worked in a rhythm that needed no words. When he chopped wood, she stacked it. When she prepared herbs to warm the air, he kept the fire steady. Two strangers learning each other through silence, through small acts that spoke louder than any promise. Ayanna moved more confidently now, her strength returning. Calder found himself watching her without meaning to, the way her braids brushed her shoulders as she leaned over the pot, how she hummed under her breath so quietly it almost blended with the crackle of the fire. That fragile caution she carried the first night was still there, but had softened into something gentler, like thawing ice beginning to drip. One morning as they worked by the creek, she paused and glanced up at him. "You look at the world like you're waiting for it to break," she murmured. Calder wasn't sure whether the remark stung or comforted him. "Just used to things falling apart, I guess." She nodded, as if she recognized the shape of that pain. And in that moment, something changed between them. Not romance, not yet, but a quiet recognition, a shared truth. Two people who knew how it felt to be unwanted, yet still breathing anyway. That night, as snow tapped against the window, Ayanna finally shared what had happened. Her tribe had suffered a sudden sickness, one that spread fast, taking children, elders, anyone whose body couldn't fight it. Fear turned to blame, and blame turned to superstition. She was accused of bringing misfortune. A single voice of accusation grew into a chorus, until she was cast out with nothing but the shawl on her shoulders. Calder listened without interrupting, his jaw tightening with every word. When she finished, she whispered, "Maybe they were right.